The arrival. The sleek, silvery shuttlecraft glided through the swirling nebula, its destination the sprawling campus of the Galactic Academy. Inside, Alex Thompson, the first human exchange student, pressed her face against the viewport, drinking in the sight of the myriad stars and celestial bodies. Her heart raced with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. As the craft began its descent, the Academy came into view. Towering spires of crystal and metal reached towards the sky, interconnected by graceful bridges that seemed to defy gravity. Hovering vehicles zipped between buildings, while students of various alien species milled about on the grounds below. The shuttle touched down on a landing pad, and Alex took a deep breath before stepping out. The gravity felt slightly lighter than Earth's, and the air carried a faint scent of ozone and something akin to cinnamon. She hefted her backpack, filled with essentials from home, and made her way towards the Welcome Center. As Alex walked, she couldn't help but notice the stares and whispers from the alien students around her. Some seemed curious, others wary, and a few even appeared frightened. She overheard snippets of conversation in the standard galactic language she had learned during her preparation for this exchange. "Is that the Deathworlder? I heard they eat meat. Raw. Don't get too close. I bet it could crush your exoskeleton with one hand." Alex sighed inwardly, but kept a polite smile on her face. She had expected some of this reaction, given humanity's recent introduction to the galactic community and their reputation as beings from a death world. Still, she hoped to change some minds during her stay. At the Welcome Center, a holographic map guided Alex to the office of Dean Zixflor, the Academy's head administrator. As she entered, she was greeted by a being that looked like a cross between an octopus and a tree. Multiple tentacle-like appendages gestured for her to sit. "Welcome, Alex Thompson of Earth." Dean Zixflor's voice resonated telepathically in her mind. "We are honored to have the first human student at our esteemed institution." "Thank you, Dean Zixflor," Alex replied, trying to mask her awe at the alien's appearance and method of communication. "I'm excited to be here and learn alongside students from across the galaxy." The dean's skin rippled in what Alex hoped was a sign of approval. "Your presence here is a significant step in fostering understanding between Earth and the wider galactic community. However, I must warn you that some students and faculty may have preconceptions about humans and your homeworld." Alex nodded. "I understand, sir. I hope that through my actions and interactions, I can show that while Earth may be classified as a death world, humans are not the monsters some might believe us to be." "A commendable attitude," Zixflor responded. "Now let me provide you with your class schedule and dormitory assignment." A holographic display appeared before Alex, showing her timetable. Classes like quantum xenobiology, pan-galactic history, and psychic energy manipulation 101 made her head spin. She was grateful for the intensive preparation she'd undergone before coming here, but she knew she'd still be facing a steep learning curve. As Alex made her way to her assigned dormitory, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Turning a corner, she nearly collided with a group of alien students who had been following her at a distance. They scrambled back, clearly startled by her sudden appearance. "Oh, I'm sorry," Alex exclaimed, holding up her hands in a gesture of peace. "I didn't mean to frighten you. I'm Alex, the new exchange student from Earth." The aliens exchanged glances before one of them, a being with iridescent scales and large, compound eyes, stepped forward. "Greetings, Earth being. I am Zixflor. We were curious about you." Alex smiled, relieved at the opportunity for interaction. "It's nice to meet you, Zixflor. And all of you," she added, nodding to the others. "I know humans might seem strange to you, but I assure you, we're not as scary as some stories might make us out to be." Another alien, this one resembling a sentient crystal formation, chimed in. "Is it true that you come from a planet with active tectonics and extreme weather patterns?" "Well, yes," Alex admitted. "Earth does have earthquakes, hurricanes, and other natural phenomena, that might seem extreme to other worlds, but we've adapted to live with them." The aliens murmured among themselves, a mix of awe and disbelief in their voices. Zixaw spoke up again. "And your biology. We've heard that humans are resilient." Alex chuckled. "We can be, I suppose. Our bodies are pretty good at healing and adapting, but we're not invincible or anything like that." As they continued to chat, Alex felt the initial tension begin to dissipate. She answered their questions as best she could, from explaining the concept of sleep to describing Earth's varied ecosystems. In turn, she learned bits about their own home planets and cultures. By the time Alex reached her dormitory, she had acquired a small entourage of curious aliens. As she bid them goodbye, promising to continue their discussion later, she felt a glimmer of hope. Yes, there would be challenges ahead, but if this initial encounter was any indication, there was also the potential for genuine connection and understanding. Entering her room, Alex was relieved to find it reasonably compatible with human needs, though some of the alien technology would take getting used to. She began unpacking, placing a few mementos from Earth on a shelf: a small potted plant, a family photo, and a smooth river stone. As she settled in, Alex's mind raced with the possibilities that lay ahead. She was not just a student here, but an ambassador for her entire species. The weight of that responsibility was daunting, but also exhilarating. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she was determined to face them head-on, to learn, to teach, and to bridge the gap between Earth and the stars. With a deep breath, Alex looked out her window at the alien sky. Tomorrow, her classes would begin, and with them, a new chapter in human-alien relations. She was ready to show the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of, one small step at a time. Survival skills unveiled. The first few weeks at the Galactic Academy had been a whirlwind for Alex. She'd struggled with the advanced alien concepts in her classes, marveled at the diversity of her fellow students, and slowly begun to make friends. But nothing had prepared her for the announcement that came one morning in her xenobiology class. "Attention, students." Professor Xylith, a towering insectoid being, clicked his mandibles excitedly. "Next week, we'll be embarking on a field trip to the planet Xerex for hands-on study of its unique ecosystem." A buzz of excitement rippled through the classroom. Alex, however, felt a knot of anxiety form in her stomach. She'd read about Xerex in her studies, a world with a punishing atmosphere, extreme temperature fluctuations, and flora that made Earth's most dangerous plants look tame in comparison. As the professor outlined the safety protocols and equipment they'd be using, Alex couldn't help but notice some of her classmates shooting concerned glances her way. Despite her efforts to integrate, many still viewed her as fragile compared to their own species' adaptations. The day of the field trip arrived, and the class boarded a large research vessel. As they entered Xerex's atmosphere, Alex marveled at the swirling, multi-hued clouds and jagged mountain ranges that seemed to scrape the sky. They landed in a valley, its floor covered in a sea of vegetation that pulsed and writhed as if alive. Professor Xylith guided them out onto the planet's surface, each student encased in a protective suit designed to withstand the harsh environment. "Remember," he cautioned, "stay close to the group and do not, under any circumstances, remove your protective gear." The class moved carefully through the alien landscape, collecting samples and taking readings. Alex was fascinated by the strange life forms around her, so different from anything on Earth. She was so engrossed in examining a crystalline structure that seemed to be both plant and animal that she didn't notice the ground beginning to tremble beneath her feet. Suddenly, a violent tremor shook the valley. The crystalline structures around them began to shatter, sending razor-sharp shards flying through the air. In the chaos, Alex lost sight of her classmates and the professor. "Alex, where are you?" She heard Zixaw call out, panic evident in their voice. "I'm here," Alex shouted back, trying to make her way through the now turbulent vegetation. She could hear the sounds of distress from her classmates, some trapped by the writhing plants, others struggling against the increasing wind. Then, she heard a sound that made her blood run cold, the hiss of escaping air. Her suit had been punctured by one of the crystal shards. Alex knew she had minutes at most before Xyrex's toxic atmosphere would overwhelm her. In that moment, Alex's survival instincts kicked in. Years of camping in Earth's wilderness, of learning to think on her feet in dangerous situations, all came rushing back. She quickly located the breach, and thinking fast, used a piece of the sticky, rubber-like vegetation to seal it temporarily. "Everyone, stay calm," Alex shouted, her voice carrying over the chaos. "If your suit is damaged, find something adhesive in the environment to patch it. The molecular structure should be compatible with our suit material." Her classmates, initially shocked to hear the fragile human taking charge, quickly followed her advice. Alex then turned her attention to those trapped by the vegetation. "Zixa, can you reach your sample kit?" She called out to her friend, who was entangled in a mass of writhing vines. "Ah yes, but how will that help?" Zixa replied, struggling against the plants. "The pH meter. Use it on the plants. If they're like the carnivorous species on Earth, they might react to changes in acidity." Zixa managed to extract the device and press it against the vines. Almost immediately, they recoiled, releasing their grip. One by one, Alex guided her classmates to freedom, using her knowledge of Earth's extreme environments to find solutions in this alien world. As the tremors subsided, Professor Xylith finally managed to regroup the class. He stared at Alex in astonishment. "Miss Thompson, your quick thinking and adaptability. It's remarkable. You've saved lives today." Alex blushed beneath her helmet. "I just did what anyone from Earth would do, Professor. We're used to adapting to extreme situations." The journey back to the research vessel was filled with chatter, but this time, it was different. Alex's classmates weren't whispering about her in fear or curiosity. They were praising her, asking her questions, looking at her with newfound respect. Back at the academy, news of Alex's heroics spread quickly. Students who had once avoided her now sought her out, eager to learn more about Earth and its inhabitants. In the cafeteria, Alex found herself at the center of a large, diverse group, regaling them with tales of Earth's varied and often dangerous environments. "So, you're saying humans voluntarily climb mountains with extreme temperatures and low oxygen?" asked a gastropod-like student, their eye stalks waving in disbelief. Alex nodded, grinning. "Absolutely. And dive into the depths of our oceans, explore caves, and even jump out of flying vehicles for fun." "But why?" Zixa asked, their scales shimmering with curiosity. Alex thought for a moment. "I guess it's part of who we are. Humans have always pushed boundaries, explored the unknown. It's how we learn, how we grow. Our world shaped us to be adaptable, resilient." As she spoke, Alex realized something fundamental had shifted. The alien students were no longer looking at her as a curiosity or a potential threat. There was respect in their eyes and genuine interest. Later that evening, as Alex prepared for bed, she received a message from Dean Zixlor. The text scrolled across her room's holographic display. "Miss Thompson, your actions today exemplify the very best of what we hope to achieve through our exchange program. You've not only demonstrated the unique strengths of your species, but also fostered greater understanding among your peers. Well done, indeed. The galaxy watches your progress with great interest." Alex smiled to herself. She had come to the academy hoping to change perceptions about humanity, to show that they were more than just Deathworlders. Today, she felt like she had taken a significant step towards that goal. As she drifted off to sleep, her dreams were filled not with the dangers they had faced, but with the faces of her alien classmates, no longer afraid, but eager to learn and understand. In the vastness of the galaxy, bridges were being built, one shared experience at a time. The academic challenge. As the dust settled from the Xyrex incident, Alex found herself facing a new set of challenges, While her survival skills had earned her respect, the academic rigors of the Galactic Academy were proving to be a different beast entirely. One crisp morning, Alex sat in her quantum xenobiology class, her brow furrowed in concentration. Professor Lyrith, a being composed of swirling gases contained within a translucent exoskeleton, was explaining the intricacies of multidimensional cellular structures. And so, the hyperfold membrane allows for instantaneous communication across vast distances within the organism. The professor's melodious voice resonated through the room. Alex's hand shot up, a mixture of frustration and determination on her face. "Professor, I'm sorry, but I'm having trouble visualizing this. On Earth, our biology is limited to 3 spatial dimensions. Could you perhaps provide an analogy that might help?" Professor Lyrith's gaseous form swirled thoughtfully. "An interesting question, Miss Thompson. Perhaps. Imagine a book. Each page represents a dimension. Now, imagine being able to read all pages simultaneously, not just sequentially. That's somewhat akin to how these organisms perceive and interact across dimensions." Alex's eyes lit up with understanding. "Oh, so it's like they're speed reading the universe itself. That makes so much more sense. Thank you." As the class continued, Alex found herself drawing parallels between the alien concepts and things she understood from Earth. She sketched diagrams in her notebook, creating visual aids that bridged the gap between her terrestrial understanding and these cosmic complexities. After class, Zixa approached her, eyeing her notebook curiously. "Alex, those drawings you were making, they seem to really help you understand. Could you perhaps explain the hyperfold concept to me using them? I'm still struggling with it." Alex smiled, happy to help. As she walked Zixa through her drawings, other classmates gathered around, intrigued by her unique approach to the material. This scene repeated itself over the following weeks. Alex found that while she often lagged behind her alien peers in grasping advanced concepts initially, her human creativity and lateral thinking allowed her to find unique solutions and explanations. In her Psychic Energy Manipulation 101 class, Alex faced perhaps her greatest challenge yet. Most of her classmates came from species with some degree of natural psychic ability. Humans, with their closed minds and lack of telepathic skills, were at a distinct disadvantage. During a practical exam, students were tasked with moving a small object using only their psychic energy. Alex watched as her classmates effortlessly lifted their objects, some even making them dance through the air. When it was Alex's turn, she stood before her object, a small, polished stone, with determination. She closed her eyes, concentrating with all her might. The stone didn't budge. Whispers began to circulate among the observing students. Alex could feel her face growing hot with embarrassment. But then, a memory surfaced. A documentary she had watched about human yogis who claimed to alter their body temperature through meditation. Taking a deep breath, Alex changed her approach. Instead of trying to move the stone directly, she focused on the air around it. She envisioned the air molecules heating up, creating a small convection current. To everyone's astonishment, the stone began to wobble slightly. It didn't levitate like the others, but it moved, rolling in a small circle on the table. Professor Tizin, a being of pure energy contained in a humanoid form, clapped their hands together in excitement. "Fascinating, Miss Thompson. While not traditional psychic manipulation, you've demonstrated an alternative method of kinetic influence through thermal control. Most innovative." Alex beamed, realizing that once again, her human perspective had allowed her to approach a problem from an angle her alien classmates hadn't considered. As the semester progressed, Alex's unique problem-solving skills became well known throughout the academy. She might not have been the top performer in raw computational skills or memorization of galactic laws, but her ability to think outside the box and draw connections between disparate concepts earned her a reputation as a valuable study partner and collaborator. One evening, as Alex was working late in the Academy's vast library, she was approached by Dean Zixflor. The dean's tentacles rippled in what Alex had come to recognize as a sign of approval. "Miss Thompson," the dean's thoughts resonated in her mind. "Your professors have been keeping me apprised of your progress. I must say, you continue to surprise us." Alex straightened in her seat, both proud and slightly nervous. "Thank you, Dean Zixflor. I'm trying my best to keep up with everyone." "Oh, you're doing more than keeping up," the dean replied. "Your unique perspectives are adding value to our academic discourse. In fact, we're considering introducing a new course next semester, Terran Cognitive Approaches to Galactic Problems. We'd like you to be involved in its development." Alex's jaw dropped. "Me? But I'm just a student." The dean's skin rippled with amusement. "A student who has demonstrated time and again the value of human ingenuity. Your species' ability to adapt, to approach problems from unconventional angles, is precisely what we hope to explore in this course." As the dean left, Alex sat back in her chair, a mix of emotions washing over her: pride, excitement, and a touch of trepidation. She had come to the Galactic Academy hoping to learn, to understand the cosmos and her place in it. Now she was being asked to teach as well, to share the unique gift of human perspective with the galaxy. Looking out the library window at the star-studded sky, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was no longer just a student struggling to keep up, but a bridge between worlds, helping to forge understanding across the cosmic divide. With a determined smile, she turned back to her studies. There was still so much to learn, but now she knew that she had something valuable to offer in return. The journey ahead would be challenging, but Alex Thompson, representative of humanity, was ready to face it head-on. Cultural exchange. As Alex settled into her role as both student and unofficial ambassador of Earth, she found herself increasingly involved in cultural exchange activities. The Academy, recognizing the unique opportunity presented by having a human on campus, organized a series of events aimed at fostering understanding between species. One sunny afternoon, Alex stood nervously in front of a packed auditorium. Students and faculty from across the galaxy had gathered for her presentation on Earth, a Deathworlder's paradise. "Welcome, everyone," Alex began, her voice only slightly shaky. "Today, I'd like to take you on a journey to my homeworld, Earth." The holographic display behind her came to life, showing a beautiful blue marble suspended in space. Gasps of awe echoed through the audience. "Earth is a planet of extremes," Alex continued, growing more confident. "We have scorching deserts and frozen tundras, deep oceans and towering mountains, but it's also a world of incredible beauty and diversity." As Alex guided her audience through Earth's various biomes, she couldn't help but smile at their reactions. The concept of liquid water covering most of a planet's surface seemed to particularly astound many. "And here," Alex said, bringing up an image of a bustling city, "is where many humans live. Our cities are a blend of nature and technology, constantly evolving as we strive to balance progress with preservation." Questions poured in from the audience. Some were easy to answer. "Yes, we really do have animals that can survive being frozen solid," while others required more thought. "Well, the reason we have so many different languages is a long and complex story." As the presentation wound down, a small fluffy being raised what appeared to be a tentacle. "Human Alex, your world sounds fascinating, but also terrifying. How do you find the courage to live in such a place?" Alex pondered this for a moment. "I suppose it's all about perspective. To us, Earth isn't terrifying. It's home. We've evolved alongside its challenges, learned to respect its power, and found joy in its wonders. In fact, many humans seek out adventure and exploration precisely because of the thrills our world offers." The audience murmured in amazement, many seeing humanity in a new light. In the weeks that followed, Alex found herself at the center of a cultural curiosity boom. Students from various species approached her with questions about Earth customs, human biology, and even Earth entertainment. One day, in the Academy's recreation area, Alex was surrounded by a group of alien friends, all clamoring to learn about human leisure activities. "So, you're telling us," Zixa said, their scales shimmering with excitement, "that humans voluntarily throw themselves off high places for fun." Alex laughed. "It's called skydiving. And yes, it's quite popular. We use parachutes to slow our descent, of course." A crystalline being named Crix chimed in, their facets glittering. "And this dancing you mentioned. It's a form of rhythmic movement to auditory stimuli, correct? Could you demonstrate?" Alex blushed but decided to embrace the moment. She stood up and began to dance to an imaginary beat, her movements fluid and expressive. Her alien friends watched in fascination, some attempting to mimic her actions with varying degrees of success. As Alex's impromptu dance lesson evolved into a full-blown interspecies dance party, she couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity and beauty of the moment. Here she was, teaching alien life forms how to do the Macarena in a space station classroom. However, cultural exchange wasn't always smooth sailing. One evening, Alex decided to introduce her friends to the concept of a movie night. She chose a classic science fiction film, thinking it would be a fun way to show how humans had imagined alien life before first contact. As they watched, Alex began to realize her mistake. Her friends were alternately confused, amused, and mildly offended by the film's depiction of extraterrestrial life. "Why are all the aliens in your film so hostile?" asked Tillich, a normally stoic energy being who seemed unusually perturbed. Alex paused the movie, feeling a need to explain. "Well, you see, before we made contact with real alien life, a lot of our ideas about extraterrestrials were based on fear of the unknown. This film is more about human nature and our own fears than about actual aliens." This led to a deep discussion about fear, imagination, and the nature of sentience. What had started as a simple movie night turned into a profound exchange of ideas and perspectives. As the semester progressed, Alex found that these cultural exchanges went both ways. She learned about the mating rituals of gaseous beings, the philosophical debates of hive-mind species, and the complex art forms of creatures that perceive time non-linearly. One particularly memorable evening, Alex's friend Gulax, a being composed of animate slime molds, invited her to participate in their species' traditional ceremony of shared nutrient exchange. Alex stood nervously as Gulax extended a pseudopod towards her. Is this safe for humans?" she asked, eyeing the glistening appendage. Gulax's body rippled in what Alex had learned was laughter. "Of course, Alex friend. We have thoroughly researched human biology to ensure compatibility. This exchange symbolizes trust and unity between our species." Taking a deep breath, Alex reached out and touched the pseudopod. A warm, tingling sensation spread through her arm, and she was suddenly flooded with a sense of peace and connection. As the ceremony concluded, Alex felt a profound sense of gratitude. She had come to the Galactic Academy to learn about alien life, but in the process, she was learning just as much about what it meant to be human. Later that night, as Alex prepared for bed, she received a message from Dean Zixler. "Miss Thompson, your efforts in cultural exchange have not gone unnoticed. The Academy Board is considering establishing a permanent Earth Cultural Center on campus. Your insights and experiences would be invaluable in this endeavor. The galaxy is beginning to see humanity not just as resilient Deathworlders, but as a species with a rich culture and unique perspective to offer. Well done, indeed." Alex smiled to herself, feeling a swell of pride. She was no longer just a curiosity or an oddity. She was a bridge between worlds, helping to weave humanity into the grand tapestry of galactic civilization. As she drifted off to sleep, Alex's dreams were filled with images of Earth and her new alien home, no longer separate, but interconnected in a cosmic dance of mutual understanding and respect. The Galactic Crisis. As Alex's first year at the Galactic Academy drew to a close, an air of tension began to permeate the usually bustling corridors. Whispers of a looming crisis spread among the students and faculty, growing louder with each passing day. One morning, Dean Zixler's voice resonated through the Academy's communication system, summoning all students and staff to the grand auditorium. Alex hurried there with her friends, her heart pounding with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. The dean's normally composed demeanor was visibly strained as he addressed the assembled crowd. Esteemed members of the Galactic Academy, I regret to inform you that we face a grave threat. A quantum anomaly has been detected in the nearby Viridian system, and it's expanding at an alarming rate. If left unchecked, it could destabilize the fabric of space-time in this entire sector. A wave of murmurs and gasps swept through the audience. Alex felt a chill run down her spine as the magnitude of the situation sank in. We've assembled a task force of our brightest minds to address this crisis, the dean continued. But we welcome input from all. In times like these, a fresh perspective might make all the difference. As the assembly dispersed, Alex found herself drawn into a group of senior students and faculty members who were already brainstorming solutions. Holograms of the anomaly floated before them, its swirling, chaotic patterns defying conventional physics. If we could generate a reverse polarity field large enough, we might be able to contain it, suggested Professor Xylith, his mandibles clicking rapidly. But the energy requirements would be astronomical, countered Zixa, who had proven to be one of the Academy's most brilliant physics students. We'd need a power source equivalent to a small star. As the debate raged on, Alex found herself staring at the hologram, a nagging thought at the back of her mind. There was something familiar about the anomaly's pattern, but she couldn't quite place it. Suddenly, it hit her. "Excuse me," she said, her voice barely above a whisper at first. When no one seemed to hear, she spoke louder. "Excuse me. I think I might have an idea." The room fell silent, all eyes turning to the human student. Alex swallowed hard but pressed on. "The pattern of the anomaly. It reminds me of something we have on Earth called a vortex. They occur in our oceans and atmosphere." "And how does this help us, Miss Thompson?" Professor Lyrith asked, his gaseous form swirling with interest. "Well," Alex continued, her confidence growing, "on Earth, we've developed technologies to disrupt and disperse vortexes, particularly for hurricane control. What if we applied a similar principle here, but on a quantum level?" The room erupted in discussion. Some dismissed the idea outright, arguing that Earth technologies couldn't possibly apply to quantum-level phenomena. Others, however, saw potential. "It's not about the technology itself," Zixa chimed in, their scales shimmering with excitement. "It's about the principle. If we could adapt our quantum resonators to mimic the frequency pattern of Alex's vortex disruptors, we might be able to introduce enough chaos into the system to break it down." Over the next few days, the Academy became a hive of activity. Alex found herself working alongside the brightest minds in the galaxy, her unique human perspective providing the spark that ignited a flurry of innovations. As the anomaly continued to grow, a plan took shape. A fleet of ships, each equipped with a modified quantum resonator, would surround the anomaly. By generating a carefully calibrated field of quantum anti-vortexes, they hoped to disrupt the anomaly's coherence and cause it to collapse in on itself. The day of reckoning arrived. Alex stood on the bridge of the lead ship, surrounded by a diverse crew of beings from across the galaxy. As they approached the anomaly, its swirling patterns filled the view screen, beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. "All ships in position," reported the pilot, a being of pure energy contained within a humanoid exosuit. "Quantum resonators at full power," added Zixa from the science station. Alex took a deep breath. "Initiate the disruption sequence on my mark," she said, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. 3, 2, 1, mark. The ship vibrated as the quantum resonators sprang to life. On the view screen, waves of energy pulsed from each ship, intersecting with the anomaly in a dazzling display of light and color. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly at first, but with increasing speed, The anomaly began to lose cohesion. Its swirling patterns became erratic, then started to break apart. "It's working," shouted Zixa, their voice filled with a mix of relief and awe. Alex watched, transfixed, as the anomaly collapsed in on itself, shrinking to a pinpoint before winking out of existence entirely. The bridge erupted in cheers and alien equivalents of hugs and high fives. As they returned to the academy, news of their success had already spread. They were greeted as heroes, with Dean Zixfler himself waiting to congratulate them. "Miss Thompson," the dean said, his tentacles rippling with what Alex now recognized as profound respect, "your contribution to resolving this crisis cannot be overstated. You've demonstrated not just the resilience we've come to expect from humans, but a unique way of thinking that may well reshape how we approach galactic problems." In the days that followed, Alex found herself at the center of attention once again, but this time it was different. She wasn't seen as a curiosity or even just a representative of humanity. She was recognized as a valuable member of the galactic community in her own right. As the academic year came to a close, Alex stood once more in the grand auditorium, this time to receive a special commendation from the Galactic Council itself. As she looked out at the sea of alien faces, no longer strange, but dear friends and respected colleagues, she felt a profound sense of belonging. "Thank you all," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "When I came here, I hoped to show that humans were more than just Deathworlders. I never imagined that in the process, I'd discover how much we all have in common, despite our differences. We may come from different worlds, but together, we can face any challenge the universe throws our way." As applause filled the auditorium, Alex knew that this was just the beginning. She had forged a path, not just for herself, but for all of humanity. The stars were no longer distant points of light, but a frontier of endless possibilities, waiting to be explored together. And as she looked towards the future, Alex Thompson, once just a curious human from a death world, now stood proud as a bridge between worlds, a symbol of what could be achieved when the diversity of the galaxy came together in harmony. The end of one chapter, but the beginning of a grand cosmic adventure.